I think one of the things that I do as a speaker, as a public speaker, that I bring to the table is this sense of being unassumable. I'm talking a lot about football right now, but I really don't talk that much about football when I go to corporate events or when I speak in a faith space. I like to say that I'm not a serious guy. I'm not just a fun guy, and I'm not just a guy that's full of degrees and information. I'm all of it, right? And the interesting dynamic is that there really aren't a lot of guys that do what I do in that sense, that we engage you with information, but engage you with humor and engage you with personality. Usually when that happens in our industry, you know this, usually what happens in our industry, it's a head-to-head conversation. And I try my best not to have head-to-head conversasations with an audience. I think my niche is having a heart-to-heart conversation and a heart-to-head conversation. That before you're over-consumed and overpowered by information, I want to touch your heart. I don't want to just give you tips and tools to be successful. I want to give you a purpose for wanting to be successful. And the only way we do that is not to just touch people's head, but to touch people's heart. That's a really interesting space in our industry of speaking and in our industry of motivating. And as far as real estate is concerned.
Well, wait, how do you do that? How do you touch people's heart?
You know, here's the irony, man. It's my gift. It's really not my gift. You are one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our generation, you know, and I thank God for you as an example. I follow you. I'm going to really be on your tail now that that we've made a connection, really following you in that sense, now that we've made a connection. But here's the reality behind what you do. You don't just have an amazing financial portfolio. You house people. You have found ways to get people who have families and who need families. And you have placed them in a place that they can call home, a place that's comfortable for them to build morals and to build foundation and fabric for their family lives. And sometimes we miss that when we're buying a multi-unit complex, or when we're going downtown and putting up the latest condominium, that we forget that, hey, we're impacting lives. You are changing people's dynamic. And when you grew up the way that I grew up, in communities where everyone did not have a steady place to live, that your neighbor this week might not be your neighbor next month, or that the guys that you went to school with one year may have had to move out of the community to go to another school the following year. When you get to that transient type of lifestyle, then you start to see that show up in the fabric of community. But what you guys provide is you provide opportunities for stability, opportunities for communities to be stronger. And very rarely does a highly, highly successful entrepreneur see themselves as being a part of the continuum of humanity. But brother, that's what you do, man. And that's why you got to keep doing it. And that's why you have to keep doing it at the level that you're doing it. You are adding to the fabric of humanity. And that's for everyone that's listening to The Best Ever. All of your podcast followers, man, that's what you do. So when you do your next business deal, or when you go after your next project, keep that in mind. Connect the heart with the project, and you'll operate not just in business, but in purpose.